Moving on to discussion and potential action items. Item number 9.
Resolution to allow the city manager to enter into an agreement with Flock Safety Group, Inc. for the implementation of automated license plate readers.
Thank you. We have a presentation, correct? Thank you, sir.
Hello again, Council. The Livingston Police Department is requesting the City Council to allow the City Manager to enter into an agreement with Flock Public Safety for the installation and lease of license plate reader cameras within the City of Livingston. This is not new technology to the city. We currently have a policy in place for it at the Police Department for the use, and have 2 license plate reader cameras installed on one of our current 2 radar trailers. Those cameras are, however, out of date and unserviceable. This type of technology is paramount in today's law enforcement world, and the only technology of its type that integrates with previous technology that this council approved, and working with Axon, or also known as evidence.com. These cameras are truly a force multiplier when it comes to crime fighting. I know that there will be some questions about privacy and what is known as the Big Brother effect. I feel that the next part of this presentation will answer all of those questions if you have them. I would like to introduce our guest tonight from Flock Public Safety, Anton Ben-Belit.
Mayor Pro Tem, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, City staff, my name is Anton Ben-Belit. I'm here on behalf of Flock Safety. Thank you all for having me here today. So I'm going to start with our mission, and it's something that's unique to our company and something that actually drew me to work here. Our mission is to eliminate crime, right? At its core, Flock Safety is a public safety operating system that's currently working with over 1,500 cities nationwide, over 1,000 law enforcement agencies, and about 110 law enforcement agencies across California. What Flock does is we unite law enforcement with the communities that they serve to create a safer, more equitable society through technology. We do this by building devices that detect objective evidence, using machine learning technology that decodes unbiased leads, and delivering real-time alerts that prepare officers to be effective and efficient in the field. So we focus on license plates because we know that historically about 70% of crimes involve vehicles. We also know that without objective evidence, about 82% of crimes go unsolved. So what we do is we provide law enforcement with objective evidence so they can clear more cases and solve more crimes. So how does this technology prevent and eliminate crime? So it's proactive. They would be getting real-time alerts when stolen or wanted vehicles enter your city. It's investigative, right? So as clearance rates increase, crime rates decrease. And the third point is it's prevention, right? So Flock cameras actually act as a deterrent because the risk of getting caught increases when you're committing crimes. There's a lot of things that make Flock unique. The first thing that I'm going to bring up is vehicle fingerprint technology. So in the system, you're able to search by make, type, color, license plate, missing plate, covered plate, paper plate, as well as unique identifiers. So back sticker, bumper sticker, window sticker, roof rack, right? It's infrastructure free, right? Which means it's affordable, it's cost effective. You don't have to dredge any electricity to hook the cameras up. We can put it up on one of our own Flock poles, or we can attach it to a traffic pole, light pole. The system is solar powered. Right? It is ALPR as a service, essentially meaning you would be leasing the system from us. This means that the cameras are always under warranty, right? So if there's a malfunction with the camera, then we are going to replace that camera for you. We have a strong regional network. We're really focused on the user experience as well, right? So we're an end-to-end service provider. We're going to do everything from helping build out the deployment plan, working with the police department to figure out the best locations for the cameras, as well as implementing the cameras themselves. And then from there, we're going to train the staff and the admin on how to use the system, as well as onboard it and then do the kickoff and everything. You would be getting real-time notifications with the system, so we integrate with California SVS, the National Center for Exploited and Missing Children, as well as the PD can create custom hot lists. And then the final thing is that we're a leader in privacy, and that's something that we do take extremely seriously. Right? So there's a ton of stuff on this slide, but we do make privacy one of our deliverables. Excuse me. I'm just going to highlight some of the things. So the footage is going to be owned by the agency or the city, right? And it's never going to be sold or shared by Flock. The system has a 30-day retention period. This short retention period ensures that all data not associated with a crime is automatically deleted and unrecoverable, right? It also takes the human bias out of crime solving by detecting objective data and detecting events that are objectively illegal, right? So stolen vehicles. All data is stored securely in the AWS government cloud. There is a search reason that's required when you're performing a search in the system. Every user would have a unique login ID, and then when they log into the system before they perform a search, they have to put in a search reason that's going to be tied back to their login ID, right? This isn't used for facial recognition. It's not used for immigration enforcement. It's not used for traffic enforcement. It is an end-to-end encryption of all data. So when it's stored on the AWS government cloud, it's a AES 256-bit encryption from the camera on the way to the cloud and then on the cloud, right? No personal identifiable information is contained in Flock. It's not connected to registration data or third-party databases, and something that we can actually do that's included in the cost of the system is build out a transparency portal, right? So this is something that either the city or the PD could put onto their website, right? And it's going to show the public, how many searches were done, how many hot list hits there were, what the system is being used for, what it's not being used for, and then you can actually also add your ALPR policy directly to the transparency portal, just so the public knows exactly what the system is being used for. We're partnered with, as I mentioned earlier, about 110 agencies across the California area. There's over 207 Flock cameras in California alone. So some of our local clients, Morgan Hill, Bakersfield, Fresno PD, Santa Maria, Fresno Sheriff's Office, Hemet, Los Gatos, Riverside County Sheriff's Office, Moreno Valley, Livermore, Milpitas, Temecula, right? Montclair, Ventura, Glendora, Arcadia, San Ramon, Beaumont. I'm not going to read all of them. You see them up there. One more thing that I will point out is if there are any local HOAs or residential communities, they can actually buy Flock cameras as well and then share that data with the PD, right? At the same time, any commercial, businesses in the area can do the same thing. Cool. I'll go through some local success stories. So this is one actually out of Morgan Hill. They saw 16 times better results when they implemented Flock cameras. So over the course of 2.5 months, they had 51 stolen vehicles recovered and made 66 arrests, right? So in the first 2 weeks, they recovered 9 stolen vehicles and made even more arrests. The thing with Flock is, a lot of times stolen vehicles are used to commit more crimes. So in this Morgan Hill instance, right, the occupants that they caught had shaved ignition keys, burglary tools, catalytic converters, as well as warrants, right? Every suspect was from outside of Morgan Hill. Without Flock, it would have taken about 8 months to achieve similar results, right? So as a matter of fact, locating these vehicles prevented the crimes that they came to Morgan Hill to commit. Right? This is another story out of Hercules. There are about 23 sworn officers. They have 25 validated cameras. On November 18th, there was a shooting involving 1 victim and 3 suspects. Officers were able to track the suspect's location within 15 minutes based on the vehicle description, which was just white sedan. Right. So 15 minutes after the shooting, police learned that 2 19-year-old men suffering from multiple gunshot wounds were dropped off by a white sedan at Vallejo Hospital. The men who were later taken to another hospital were listed in serious but stable condition. Right. This is another example out of Hemet, right? So since the Flock cameras went live on June 8th, the Hemet Police Department has been able to safely recover 132 stolen vehicles and make 119 arrests associated with those cases. The Hemet Police Department reached a benchmark with the total recovery value of the vehicles accounting to approximately $1.15 million. Right. I'm not going to read through all of these, but we have success stories, case studies of the system working from all across the state. The system truly does work, and the proof is in the pudding, right? So Fairfield, San Marino, So, Chief Hale and I have built out a potential deployment strategy for the cameras. We had a 8-camera phase 1 deployment as well as a 16-camera Project Prove It that we had initially mapped out. I think that might have changed a bit, but the way that we think about implementing these cameras is putting them at the ingress and egress points to the city, as well as covering any hotspots where there might be an excess amount of crime. So pricing is super straightforward. It's $2,500 per camera per year. That includes the cloud hosting, the LTE connectivity, the solar power, unlimited user licenses, so everybody at the PD is going to be able to use the system. It includes the hot list integrations and alerts. It includes also the ongoing software enhancements that are included with the system. And then there's a one-time implementation fee of $350 associated with each camera. That does include us coming out, setting up the pole or putting it up on the traffic pole, as well as, going through the whole implementation process and training everyone. Right. And then just to recap, right, so what is this tech? So license plate recognition, it gathers objective evidence and facts about vehicles, not people. It alerts police of wanted vehicles. It's used to solve crime, and it adheres to all state laws. What this tech isn't, right, it's not facial recognition, it's not tied to personal identifiable information, it's not used for immigration or traffic enforcement, and the data automatically deletes every 30 days. That about does it. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, sir. First, I'll open it up to the public. Any public comment? No? On the phone? Emails? Monica? Okay, I'll close public comment at this time. Bring it back to council for any questions, comments.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. First one, a lot of people in Livingston, it seems like they don't put the front license plate on. Would that also be detected?
So no, we're actually only capturing the back end of the vehicle because we want to ensure that it's objective evidence. Right.
The second question is, let's say if we have a vehicle that residents have been complaining about a certain license plate, can we put it in the system where as soon as that car comes back and the police will be alerted right away?
Correct, yeah, so you can create a custom hot list in the system. You obviously would need a user ID to create that custom hot list, as well as a case number associated with that plate.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, council? Mr. Moran?
Thank you. So I think the biggest concern that I had about this system was privacy. I think you touched on that a couple of times, and you emphasized that it's not, doesn't have any facial recognition or blah, blah, blah. And the only time that it would get a hit is if that license plate number is registered already or is part of a list of a vehicle that has been reported stolen or wanted or something, right?
Correct. And it would have to be tied to a case number.
To a case number.
Yep.
Yeah. So someone somewhere updated or included that license plate number to the list, and that's what. If this camera reads it, then it will connect it and warn somebody here at PD and say, hey, this just came into town or went by.
Correct.
This camera.
So during the setup process, we would set up who's getting hot list hits for what, right? So if there's a lieutenant that wants to get alerts whenever there's a missing person, a vehicle that's been associated with a missing person, we can set it up to where that lieutenant's going to be getting alerts when a vehicle with a missing person comes by. If somebody else in the department would like to get notified of stolen, plates, then we can set up for them to get an alert just for those, right?
Okay, so it would be someone specifically that would get that alert, not PD at their PD office, right?
It depends on how you set it up. You can set it up however you like.
Okay.
Yep.
And the covers, like the license plate covers, sometimes that they have like that transparent plastic, that's illegal anyways, but I mean, people still have it. Would that alter or not make this work?
So we found a lot of times that, eyewitnesses don't actually remember the license plate at all, which is the beauty of the system. We utilize machine learning to annotate images. So if an eyewitness says, I saw a white Ford SUV with a bumper sticker, and they don't know the plate, the officer would actually be able to go into the system with the case number associated and then search for that vehicle by the description of the vehicle without having the plate.
Just to touch on the privacy thing again, so similar to a law enforcement officer being behind a car and radioing to dispatch a license plate number that's traveling in front of them, that officer has to have a need to know and a right to know that registration information. They just can't go out on a fishing expedition. The same thing with the searchable system with the license plate reader hits. They can search for a particular license plate. Like Councilmember Kang brought up, if there's a problem in a particular neighborhood and somebody gave a partial plate, they don't have any other descriptors other than the first 3 digits of the license plate. Those 3 digits can be searched for to see if there were any license plates captured in the city that match those first 3 digits. And that alone is not going to solve the case, but it's going to lead our officers in the right direction to figuring out who exactly or what exactly this car is. But again, you have to put a case number in to do any kind of search. So, and it's recorded on the audit trail.
No other questions.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Soto.
I'm more concerned about what you're asked, the payment. I mean, your slide showed it was, I don't remember what it was on, 20,000. But when you go to our contract, it is an initial term of 2 years. So the total of it is actually 54,000. And I'm trying to weigh if that is, we have something in place. I heard you say that. I'm just wondering, I'm just trying to see if this new system is worth that.
So the contract that you're looking at that's in excess of 54,000, that's when we were exploring the options of doing the 8 cameras and then the bigger pilot program. We narrowed it down to the 8 cameras. There's an initial cost of just over 20,000. And it is a 2-year deal, but correct me if I'm wrong, that's payable each year, not all at one time.
Correct.
And the current system that I mentioned, as I said, it's inoperable and unserviceable.
If I may, Mayor Pro Tem,
Go ahead.
also we, at the beginning of the year for, in our budget, it was approved that we had $60,000 for traffic calming measures, and that is the funds that the city will be using in order to pay for this equipment. Just because one of the features that the equipment has, it's the searchability feature, which it is known that we can write down semi-truck, and that will definitely help our department and our city to potentially reduce the illegal traffic of big rigs through the non-truck routes.
Thank you. Any other questions? Do you have another question or no? Oh, okay. Good? Okay, moving on. So, for me, I just want to say thank you for coming from San Diego. I know it's a long ride up here for this, so I appreciate that. And good presentation. Explained everything that people have probably had questions on. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for item number 9. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Rand, second. Go ahead and,
Roll call.
Monica, roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Soto?
No.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-1.